Actors. What does it mean to be an actor? My favorite type of actor is probably a method actor. Somebody that does what they do inside the role and outside of the role. Hey guys, thank you for joining the quest again. I'm Marques Underwood, and this time I'm gonna go back to what I did when I first made my channel. Going back to my top 10 favorite list. So this time it's my top 10 favorite actors of right now. I hope you enjoy the list. I have a lot of favorite actors, so it's kind of hard to narrow it down to about 10, but I did it, and I hope you enjoy the list. My 10th favorite actor is Christoph Waltz. He was in Inglourious Basterds. He was the guy that could speak German, French, and English. He was also in Django Unchained. He was the guy that helped out Django, the one that got him free and was his partner basically during the whole movie. He was in Big Eyes, where he's played opposite of Amy Adams, the guy that claimed to have made the portraits and pictures. And he's gonna be in the new James Bond film, Spectre. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him in that. Why I like this actor is because even though he's really known as playing the sidekick for a lot of his roles, he still demands the screen. He probably outshines the star of the movie whenever they're in the same roles, really. And that's really hard to do, especially for a side actor. But when he does that, it kind of feels like he's the main actor. He kind of takes over the screen. I'm hoping to see him in his own movie soon, maybe a star lead or so. But you know, every time he does like a Quentin Tarantino movie, he always gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and I believe he wins most of the time, if not all the time. So you know, that's why he's on my list at number 10. My 9th favorite actor of right now is Matthew McConaughey. Now Matthew McConaughey, he creeped into my list recently within the past year or so. He really got big off this movie called The Lincoln Lawyer, where he played this lawyer that really worked out his car. I saw that recently, and I really thought it was a good movie. I think it's his first time I've seen him really do acting seriously and not really do a fun, you know, a romantic comedy type of thing. He was also in this movie called Mud. I believe it's on Netflix right now, but I saw that movie, and that movie was just so great. He played like this old homeless dude that was trying to look for his girl or whatever. And he was really good in that. The movie kind of reminded me of Stand By Me a little bit with the kids, but he was great in that. His acting was on par. It was really different from what I've seen him do before. So that's what I liked about it. He was in Interstellar, the movie by Christopher Nolan, my favorite director. And he was just great in that movie. He took over, you know, the movie. The scenes where it got really emotional, I really believed him. You know, I really felt like he was his father, you know, trying to reconnect with his kid once he went out to space. He was also in Dallas Buyers Club, one of the best movies of 2013. I really believe that he was this AIDS victim that lost his friends and became friends with this transsexual and just had to try to find a way to get the cure somehow by doing his own thing and selling drugs. I really believe that. Kind of felt for the guy too. His acting was on par, and you know, the scenes where he first finds out that he has the disease, I really believed him. My 8th favorite actor right now is Ryan Gosling. This guy probably isn't even on anybody's radar, but he's on mine. I loved him in this movie called Drive, one of my favorite movies of all time. I might do a review of that. I probably will. It's definitely in my top 20 movies of all time. But I just like it. He doesn't really talk much in the movie, but he conveys this emotion in his actions, which I really believe the character that he's playing. I don't feel like he's a character. I feel like he's playing himself. I feel like I'm watching him versus the character in the movie, which is really hard to do. He's also in another movie that was filmed by the same director, Nicholas Winding Refn. The movie is called Only God Forgives. Again, Ryan Gosling doesn't really talk, but he steals every scene. He's really like this metaphor in the movie. I don't really want to give it away too much, but he's really this metaphor about, you know, trying to get forgiveness for your sins and all this stuff. But he was great in the movie. And also, this movie I saw him in was called The Place Beyond the Pines with Eva Mendes and Bradley Cooper. This was before Bradley Cooper even became famous. But Ryan Gosling, again, doesn't really talk in the movie, but he doesn't need to, because his actions and his facial expressions and emotions really show what the character is supposed to do. I notice he does a lot of visual movies where he doesn't talk much, but it's okay because the way he conveys his thoughts, you can see it on his facial expressions, see it in his actions, see it in how he carries himself. You know, you learn about the character just by body language, really. And that's really hard to do. You know, actors, you know, usually they expect a lot of dialogue, but You know, if you can do all that stuff without dialogue, that really says something about you. So I like Ryan Gosling a lot. My 7th favorite actor right now is Christian Bale. Well, Christian Bale just got finished doing the whole Batman trilogy, which I must say is probably one of the best trilogies of all time. I really believe that he was Batman. I know a lot of people make fun of his voice. Where is he? Where's Harvey Dent? But you know, I really thought he was great as Batman. He was probably, to me, he's the best Batman. Better than Michael Keaton, better than George Clooney, Val Kilmer. We've come a long way, folks. But yeah, he's the best Batman. I think he really was at his peak during the Batman trilogy, probably, and his best in the Batman trilogy to me is probably Batman Begins, and that's because the villains don't steal the role for me, like how they did in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. He also did this movie called 3:10 to Yuma, which I believe is a remake of this 1950s Western movie. He was in American Hustle 2, which recently came out. I liked American Hustle. I honestly have to rewatch the movie to let you know my thoughts on it, but hey, the movie was nominated for Best Picture, so you know, he was good in it. He was funny too, from what I remember. You're really committed. He's a method actor, meaning, you know, in the movie and outside the movie, in his home life and his personal life, you know, he's still that character, which is hard to do. So kudos to him. My 6th favorite actor right now is Joaquin Phoenix. This dude just got on my radar, and I must say, from what I've seen, this dude is possibly one of the best actors of all time. He was in this movie called The Master with Richard Seymour Hoffman, which is basically about how the creation of Scientology and how it grew and all this stuff. And you know, he was just really good. You know, his funny little accent or voice thing, whatever it was, I really liked it. I really believe that he was understanding the religion, and it was like a cult, really. He was kind of caught up in a cult. I really believe that. He was also in this movie called The Immigrant, which is basically about this woman who leaves her country to come to America, and how Joaquin Phoenix character basically kind of manipulates her to join this prostitution rank that he has. And he was really good as the prostitution guy, I guess. He was really manipulative. He was really, you know, making people go against who they were as people. He really didn't have no remorse. He was kind of taking advantage of these women. I really believe that that was him during this time period. You know, this movie really took place during the 1900s, you know, with Ellis Island and things of that nature. So I really believe that he was there. He was also in this movie called Her, one of the best movies of 2013. Now, when I first heard about the movie Her, I thought it was kind of going to be stupid. Then I saw the movie, I was like, oh my God, this shit is brilliant. This shit is a masterpiece. This movie was so well done. I really believe that he was falling in love with this computer or whatever. It wasn't really fake to me. It really felt genuine to me, to be honest. He made it feel like he wasn't talking to a computer but an actual person. And I'm sure that's hard to do when there's nothing really there for you to talk to and physically. So I'm sure, you know, that showed some great acting chops from him. 5th favorite actor of right now is Michael Fassbender. A lot of you guys probably don't know who this is, but he played Magneto in the new X-Men movies, X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past, and he's going to be Magneto in X-Men Apocalypse. I love him as Magneto. He's really great. He really conveys the young Magneto very well. I understand his character, his motivations. He really shows both sides of the spectrum. He's not just evil just to be evil. He really shows his humanity within the character, and you understand why he does what he does. But outside of Magneto, this guy is a great actor too. You should check out some of his movies. He did Shame, where he plays this nymphomaniac type of character. He was also in this movie called Frank, where he played this mentally ill person who kind of never wants to grow up. And he was in 12 Years a Slave. He played the slave master. The scene where, you know, he forces the male slave to whip the other slave. That scene was really hard to watch, but it really showed Fassbender's acting skills. You know, you could tell that he really wasn't remorseful and really didn't have no emotion, really didn't care. That was probably really hard for Fassbender to do, but he was great in that role. I heard he was supposed to play Steve Jobs in this movie. As a matter of fact, this teaser trailer just came out recently, so I'll probably put the link in the description if you guys want to see it. Really looking forward to seeing him do Steve Jobs. It's probably different for him. I never really seen him, you know, do like an old guy, have to wear, you know, makeup and all that stuff. And also, he's supposed to be Damien in the Assassin's Creed movie. The movie is really good. It's probably gonna start the trend in Hollywood of movie games, because right now every movie game that comes out sucks. But I think Fassbender can really pull this off, whether he plays Damien or Altair. You know, I really think he can do it. So I'm looking forward to it. He was in Prometheus 2, the prequel to Alien. Prometheus, I thought he was good in it. Could have been a little bit better, but I don't really blame him. I blame the script, because some of that movie was just really unnecessary. But he was so good in it. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. Fourth favorite actor of right now is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And now he's on movies like The Dark Knight Rises, where he plays Robin. He was really good in that movie. He played like the apprentice to Bruce Wayne. He knows Batman. He knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he's like a cop, and he's basically like the Batman of that movie. He was in Inception, another Christopher Nolan movie, one of my favorites of all time. If you've seen my top 10 list, he was in a movie with a star-studded movie with DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy. He held his own. In the little hallway scene where the hallway is spinning and he's just fighting, I thought that really showed his athleticism, so to say. Maybe that's not the right word, but he directed one of his own movies called Don John, where he plays a sex addict too. He really showed the truth about how guys and women feel about the dating situation, and how the media kind of influences people's perceptions and visions of how things should be in a relationship. I really thought he did that well. His character was funny as hell. I love that movie. It's probably my favorite romantic comedy of all time. I know he's gonna do this movie. It's supposed to come out later this year, called The Walk. It's a true life story about this guy that walked between the Twin Towers. I believe it's the Twin Towers, and he's walking over it with a wire and no harness, no vest, no safety net. He's just walking. And the teaser trailer came out too, I believe. I'm gonna check that out. I put the link down too. He was in one of the most original sci-fi movies of recent years, Looper, with Bruce Willis too. I really believe that he was this young Bruce Willis character trying to survive in the world. Probably brought the best out of Bruce Willis in the years. So that just lets you know how good he is. He was in this movie that came out in 2009 called 500 Days of Summer. He was really good in that movie too. That's another movie about relationships, kind of like Don John and perceptions versus reality. I thought he really conveyed that whole message well at playing his character too, the difference between reality and perception. He also did 50-50, a movie where he plays this cancer patient. He plays this guy that finds out he has cancer. So him and his friends decide to, try and live out the best of his last few months. And for a movie about cancer, this was a funny movie. It was serious at times and sad, but it really balanced the whole funny and serious moments. And I thought his character he really showed that in the movie. There were scenes where he was having fun, but there were scenes where he was like very serious, and you really felt bad for the guy. And it's really hard for people to show that spectrum. So I really enjoyed that. My third favorite actor right now is Tom Hardy. If you've been watching my channel and following me, you know that this guy is I'm always talking about this guy at least once a week. He had 2 movies that came out so far. Mad Max, which I really loved. Probably the best action movie of the year so far. One of the best action movies of all time. One of the best action movies I've seen since The Matrix. He doesn't really have a big role in the movie. I liked him as Mad Max. I can't really talk about it because he didn't really do much for me, but I still liked him as Mad Max. He did Child 44, which came out in April. I loved him in that movie. He does a lot of movies with accents. I noticed that a lot. He just plays this detective trying to figure out who's murdering these kids. And when he's serious, this guy's on point. He's on par. He's just really good. He was on Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. He played Bane. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it. I really like Bane. You can't really have a big stocky Bane in that universe. It wouldn't work. But he's really good. He made Bane a psychological character, and Tom Hardy really showed that off well with his games with Batman and Selena Kyle and Commissioner Gordon. The way he ruled the city, I really believe that he was in control and was powered. The dude was only like 5'9" or whatever, but I felt like he was this big, 6'5" dude that was controlling the city. And that takes a lot for an actor, so I like Tom Hardy in that. He played Charles Bronson in this movie called Bronson. I Another great movie. That's probably his breakout role, in my opinion. He was amazing in that. Amazing. It wasn't over the top. It was funny as hell. I really believe that he was Bronson. In fact, in order to prepare for the role, he went to the jail that Charles Bronson was in and talked to him. And even Charles Bronson said that the dude portrayed him very well. Played in this movie called Warrior. He played this guy who has problems with his brother and father. And he fights, but in all honesty, the fighting's just like a way for him to get his feelings out against his father and brother. And he really showed the family dynamic and how that was hurting his character. I really believe that, he had issues with the family and that he was just taking it out on his opponents. The scenes where him and his father were fighting, and like the scene where he gets the coin and just throws it in his dad's face because he doesn't want to be bothered because his dad wasn't there for him when he was a kid. I thought that was really, I really believed it. It was really serious. Check out Warrior if you haven't seen it. One of the best movies of all time too. One of the best movies of 2013 of Locke, where he's in this car. It's just him in the car, and I mean, if Bronson wasn't his breakout role, this definitely was second to that. It's just him listening to people talking in car speakers, and you really believe that his life is crumbling while he's on his way to this incident he did, because his character did something that was really really believed that he was losing his life, he was losing who he was, but at the same time he was gaining himself because he was telling the truth to everybody and coming clean, and everything happening around him. He was saying things in a very calm manner. So like you knew he was angry, but at the same time you felt like he didn't care because his voice was so soothing and so calm during the movie, which was probably hard for him to do. I think it was like a Welsh type of accent he was doing in that movie. It really worked for me. My second favorite actor right now is Jake Gyllenhaal. This guy, probably within the past 4 to 5 years, ever since that Prince of Persia movie, that guy's been going uphill for me. I saw Prisoners. He was great in that movie, Prisoners. One of the best movies of 2013 as well. If not the best of 2013. He played this detective trying to find out who took this guy's daughter. One of the best acting performances he's ever done. Came out with this movie last year, which really blew my mind. It's called Enemy. Basically, it's like one of those metaphoric movies, kind of like a Ryan Gosling Drive or Only God Forgives, but the metaphors in this movie is kind of like spiders and not feeling trapped. But I don't really want to spoil it. One of my favorite movies that came out last year. One of my favorite movies of all time, actually. And he plays this guy that doesn't want to get trapped in his relationship. Then he finds out that there's his twin, and he's just trying to figure out what his twin does, why he's there, what makes him similar, what makes him different. And in the end, there's like this twist or so. And it's one of those movies that you kind of research afterwards to find out what the real meaning is. And I thought, in order for me to research the movie, I thought his portrayal of the twins, because he played both twins. I thought his portrayal of the twins was really great. He played in another movie that came out last year, which was one of my favorites, Nightcrawler. He plays this guy that he joins this news station, and he's like one of those guys that goes to the accidents and films what happens as it occurs. So like if there's a car accident going on, he's like the first one on the scenes. And I really believe that like he was like this sick person who he was out there for himself, and like he started screwing over the news station too. And like the way he was repeating stuff in the movie, it was like really like weird, but it worked for me. His eyes are always like big. I'm looking forward to seeing him in his movie called Southpaw. Eminem, the rapper, is actually supposed to be this main character, but I forgot what happened. I'm pretty sure he just wanted the movie to be filmed in Detroit to help out the economy, but they probably weren't willing to do that. But he plays this boxer who kind of loses himself, his daughter, I believe. And, I mean, he made rival DiCaprio for Best Actor at the Oscars, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him in Southpaw. If you've been following my channel, you already know who number one is. It's Leonardo DiCaprio. He is just so great in it. The movie can suck and he'll still be like the best part of it. Where do I start? I'll start with Django Unchained. He played the slave guy, the slave master. The first time I ever seen him play the bad guy in the movie, he was really good in it. He was killing in that movie. It's like, it's one of those movies where like everybody steals the scene. You know, Samuel L. Jackson was probably the best part of the movie for me, but DiCaprio was really good. Especially the scenes where like the two slave people were fighting, and you know, he was betting on them and all that stuff. The scene where he had the one dude killed by the dogs, he was good in that. The scene where he finds out that Kerry Washington's character was the wife of Jamie Foxx's character, and how he kind of makes them do his deal or else they're all gonna die. I thought he was good in that one. He was great in Inception. He was the main character, Dom. Take on that really is that he's still in the dream world, but he doesn't care because he's with his kids. And even like the top spinning and kind of, you know, stopping shows that, to me at least. Wife will show up in his dreams. I really felt the fear of what it was like, you know, to have her appear. He was really good in that. J. Edgar Hoover, the movie was boring as hell, but he was great in that movie. I really believe he was J. Edgar. For some reason, he makes movies that come out every 2 to 3 years. I don't really care because he's just so great, and you know he's gonna get nominated for an Oscar. But he's just that good. In fact, this year he's coming out with a new movie called The Revenant. Probably win Best Picture at the Oscars for that one. I'm pretty sure about that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So there you have it, guys. My top 10 favorite actors of right now. Let me know your list of top 10 favorite actors of right now. Comment below. Subscribe, please. Thank you for joining the quest. Again, I am Marques Underwood, and see you later.